Double, triple, ultra, monster kill.
Greetings from Pintpot. Today I'm going to be taking a look at implants. Now, a lot of players I've talked to, including experienced players, are saying that they're entirely ignoring the implant system. Now, certainly as a newer player, I can appreciate how you wouldn't want anything else to consider in the game when you've got so much to learn. And when you're just starting with the game, I kind of agree with this point of view. However, when you've got a little experience under your belt, and I mean just a little, say BR10 to 15, it's worth taking a quick look at the implants. Now, every character starts off with the default one, Enhanced Targeting. In addition, as you play the game and gain experience, you automatically pick up additional implants plus charges. When you activate a charger, you get 800 energy, and your implants use them at various paces. Tier 1 implants, which includes the default one, use half an energy per second. Tier 2 use 0.75 per second, and Tier 3 use 1 per second. So this means that one charger can run a Tier 1 implant for just under half an hour. As you gain more Tier 1 implants, eventually you'll get all of them, plus multiple ones of the same type. On your character screen, there is an option at the bottom for the nanocycler. If you combine 5 Tier 1 implants, you can get a Tier 2 implant. The same applies for getting Tier 3 implants, just combine 5 Tier 2. Now, in the early game, I wouldn't worry about the Tier 2 or Tier 3 implants at all. This is because you're probably not earning enough experience and therefore getting enough charges to be able to run them consistently. This also applies to buying with either station cash or certs, implants or charges. There is absolutely no reason in the early game, or in my opinion until the very late game, to invest any certs and certainly no station cash into implants. And again, this comes down to the fact that you have to be earning a decent amount of experience to keep anything other than a Tier 1 implant going. So in the early game, where you're probably not earning nearly as much experience as you will when you're more experienced, even if you invest the certs or cash to get higher tier implants, you'll run out of energy trying to run them. So my advice is ignore it and just allow your gameplay to steadily earn you some more charges. Now, in the early game, where you've got a lot of other things to consider, you don't want to micromanage your implants, this is what I recommend you do. Choose a default Enhanced Targeting implant. Attach it to your character. Go to the nanocycler screen and then choose Implant Energy. Click the tab for Auto Resupply. This will mean that whenever you run out of energy, it will automatically use another charger if you have any in stock. And then you're good to go. You don't have to do anything else ever again in terms of your implants if you don't want to. Now, the default implant, Enhanced Targeting, is good for pretty much everything, and I very much like it. It gives you the health amount of your target, which I find particularly useful when inviting vehicles, as you'll know how many shots it can still take. Rel did a very nice video reviewing them, so I put a link above. If you want to know more about how the implant works, please take a look. Another implant you should consider if you want to go down the route of just very low maintenance implants is Regen 1. After you get damaged, it will regenerate your health after a small period of time. Now, in the early game, you may not be able to keep your Tier 1 implants up all the time. And if you're finding this a problem and you don't consider the micromanage of your implants too much of the problem, then one thing you can do is turn off your implants when you're either driving in a vehicle or when you're waiting for a base to cap. To do this, when you spawn a character, just deselect the implant on your character tab. Then after you waited for the base to cap or you finished your journey, when you spawn again, you can reselect the implant. But this is not at all necessary. The complaints I frequently hear from other players is that they don't want anything else to manage in the game. So if this is the case, just select Enhanced Targeting, check the Auto Resupply button on the implant screen, and you're good to go for the rest of the game. There is no reason to ignore implants, as they effectively require zero effort after you've done this. You'll just steadily loot more and more charges and implants until such time as you want to do something with them. So in conclusion, there is no reason to ignore the implant system in the game. It can be as low or high maintenance as you the individual like. My recommendation is in the early game, just check that auto resupply box, use Enhanced Targeting and go with it. If you want some more detail about how implants work, Rel is doing a series looking at each individual implant, and Kamikaze78 did a really nice video looking at the overall system. I put links both in the description and above. If you found this episode interesting or useful, please feel free to thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe or comment as appropriate. In the meantime, have a good one, happy hunting and Pintpot out.